Please. I don't know what else to do. The frail voice trembled over the hood of her car. Ethan Walker wiped his hands on a rag, looking at the elderly woman's anxious face. He didn't hesitate. Let me take a look, he said gently, already kneeling beside the engine. The garage smelled of motor oil and hot metal, the air buzzing faintly with the compressor. Ethan's fingers worked with careful precision, replacing a worn part, patching a leak, and pouring the last bit of fuel from his personal canister into the tank. The engine roared back to life, and Mrs. Thompson gasped, clutching her hands to her chest. "Oh, Ethan, I don't know how to thank you," she whispered, offering the few bills she had. Ethan shook his head. "Just drive safely, ma'am," he said softly. She nodded, tears spilling down her wrinkled cheeks, and started her car, which now purred like a kitten. He didn't notice the shadow watching from the doorway. Gregory Shaw, the garage owner, whose eyes narrowed as he saw Ethan helping without charging a dime. By afternoon, Gregory stormed into the workshop, voice booming over clanging metal. "Walker, are you out of your mind? You just gave away labor and parts? This is a business, not a charity." His finger jabbed sharply in Ethan's direction, veins visible, rage evident. Ethan stood silently, the heat of the confrontation pressing on him, but refusing to argue. I just wanted to help," he murmured. "Help?" Gregory's laugh was bitter. "You think helping keeps the lights on? The bills paid? You're done. Pack your tools." The apprentices froze, stunned, while Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. Tears threatened, but he blinked them back, refusing to let despair show. Just then, Mrs. Thompson appeared at the doorway, holding a small tin of cookies. She froze, seeing the young man being punished for his kindness. Her hands covered her mouth in shock, her heart breaking for him. Ethan didn't argue. He simply nodded to the others, slung his toolbox over his shoulder, and walked out of the garage. Outside, the late afternoon sun caught his face, glinting with sweat and sorrow, yet also with quiet pride. He had done the right thing, and somewhere deep inside, he knew kindness wasn't something you could fire someone for. Ethan set his gloves on the workbench and walked out of the garage without a word. The door clicked softly behind him, leaving a silence that seemed heavier than the clanging of tools ever could. Days turned into restless nights, and Ethan's search for work yielded nothing. Employers asked for references he didn't have. Experience alone wasn't enough. His small savings dwindled quickly, leaving him to stretch every dollar while answering his little sister's worried questions with a strained, "I'm fine." Inside, his heart was anything but fine. His dream of someday opening a small neighborhood repair shop felt like it was slipping further away with every rejection. Meanwhile, Gregory Shaw began to notice the emptiness in the garage. Mornings were quieter. The usual laughter, the easy camaraderie, the sense of teamwork Ethan had inspired, gone. Customers who had once trusted the young mechanic started to drift away, leaving complaints about slow service and lackluster attention. The garage felt colder, more mechanical, stripped of the warmth Ethan had brought. Then, 3 days later, Mrs. Thompson appeared. She moved slowly with her cane, her lavender cardigan buttoned neatly, her eyes carrying a quiet determination. She asked to see Gregory and didn't flinch as she told him why. "You may not know me," she began, her voice shaking but steady. "I'm the woman whose car Ethan repaired without asking for payment. That day, I was on my way to see my grandson in the hospital. Without his help, I wouldn't have made it in time. He gave me a final moment with someone I loved before he passed that evening." Her hands trembled, and tears spilled down her cheeks. "He didn't just fix a car," she said, her voice breaking. "He gave me a gift I can never repay." For the first time in years, Gregory's stern mask faltered. He felt something he hadn't allowed himself to feel in a long time: regret, and a deep, gnawing awareness of his own failings. Memories of his son, lost years ago in a road accident, returned, pain he had buried behind discipline and control. And now, Ethan's act of kindness had cracked that armor wide open. That night, Gregory couldn't sleep. He thought of the garage, the customers, and the young man whose integrity had reminded him of what truly mattered. The next morning, he found Ethan's address through one of the apprentices and drove straight there. Ethan opened the door to see his former boss standing on the doorstep. His heart raced, expecting anger, maybe humiliation, but not the look of genuine remorse in Gregory's eyes. "I was wrong," Gregory said quietly, His voice weighed with sincerity. I let anger and rules blind me to what mattered. I owe you an apology. He paused, then offered. I'd like you to come back. Not just as a mechanic, but as the assistant manager. You deserve it. Your integrity deserves it. Ethan froze, tears welling up as the words sank in. His voice caught in his throat, but a small nod said everything. When he returned to the garage that day, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Colleagues clapped, smiles lit up every corner, and Mrs. Thompson stood nearby, hands clasped to her chest, whispering prayers of gratitude. The cold tension that had haunted the garage was gone, replaced by warmth, laughter, and respect. Ethan went back to work that day, wrench in hand, but also with something more, restoring faith, not just in engines, but in people. Kindness, he realized, didn't just change days, it changed lives.